Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, David Riggleman, Communications Director for the City of Las Vegas. Coming up on this show, a new donated van will help connect and transport homeless individuals to much-needed medical services. And volunteers do magic at Rainbow Family Park. Of course, the councilman who represents Ward 1 is Brian Knudsen. He joins me now. Councilman, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much,
Happy
David.
2021. It's the first time you've been on since the new year.
It seems like yesterday I was here, but it's apparently it's been 6 to 8 weeks. So here we are.
It's been a while.
It has been a while.
Good to have you back.
Thank you.
You know Ward 1 like the back of your hand. It's your stomping ground. For those of you out there not exactly sure where we're talking about, what we're going to show you, it's really the heart of the city right there. That area in yellow is, of course, Ward 1. It really extends from our downtown all the way out to the northwest. And it's really where our city began. The Springs Preserve is there. It's what brought people to Las Vegas in the first place, was the water. And that wonderful amenity, that Springs Preserve, is right in the heart of Ward 1 as well. So if you live in that area, work in that area, you are represented by Brian Knudsen on the City Council. And you're an old pro at this all of a sudden. You know,
I've found my footing. I'm feeling pretty good about where Ward 1 is going and what I'm doing every day. So I'm feeling pretty good.
You work very hard. It's bound to happen. So, Councilman, let's jump right in. Now, you posted this on Facebook. You said today, Councilman Brian Knudsen for Las Vegas Ward 1 has been successfully appointed to the National League of Cities 2021 Community and Economic Development Federal Advocacy Committee. Now, this is a big deal. The city's a member of the Nevada League of Cities and the National League of Cities. And you just got an important appointment. Tell everybody what that means and what you'll be doing in that new role.
So the National League of Cities is a representative of all the cities in our country who pay membership dues and really are that voice for cities to our federal government. So I'm really excited about the opportunity. It's one of several appointments that I've gotten through the National League of Cities. One is representing LGBTQ officials, one on the economic development side, and then another appointment on representing large cities. And so using my advocacy efforts here at the City of Las Vegas, I'll be able to amplify that with the National League of Cities and hopefully advocate for some positive changes in Nevada based on some national efforts with the National League of Cities. You
know, it's interesting. Everybody that goes before Congress has a bill or has an interest to see Congress do this or do that, has some voice, somebody speaking for them. And in city's behalf, as you said, it's the National League of Cities. Right. Very important role, especially as we head into another brand new session of Congress.
Correct, and a new administration. And we need to talk about the transportation needs in Nevada, Southern Nevada in particular, the mental health, the education, the public infrastructure needs. And so talking about those issues on behalf of large cities, talking about the economic development opportunities within Southern Nevada, the medical district in particular.
Yeah, we're going to talk about
I'm excited to talk about all of that and leverage every position I can to fight for Ward 1.
Yeah, very good. And I think a lot of people probably have figured out that council members wear a lot of different hats. Councilman's on National League of Cities, on the Health District Board, and our council members do that. They'll serve on various boards, RTC, Water Authority, etc. And so councilman's got when he's not working on city stuff directly, he's working on city stuff indirectly too. So it's part of the deal. Councilman, you mentioned the medical district. This is really great. You took recently a tour of the Silver State Pediatric Facility. Now, I wasn't even aware that this existed, but so fill us in, and I think we've got some pictures of your visit.
So for anybody who drives along the Charleston corridor, or if you're a resident in Palomino Estates or Equestrian Estates or McNeil Neighborhood Association, you would have recognized this building that's been vacant on Charleston. It's about a block away from the Smiths on the north side of the street, and everybody's been kind of wondering what that is. So it's a convalescent home for newborns all the way up to 22, 24 years old, for children who are severely disabled. So it's an excellent addition to the medical district, an excellent addition for our community. It's much needed services. So touring it was a really good experience. It's great for Ward 1, great for our community.
Councilman, how long has it been open? I didn't even know that this existed.
They are just opening. So we were there on the tour. They didn't have patients yet. By now they have patients.
Wow.
And so it's been a really interesting process for them to develop. And I know years from now we'll be looking back saying this is where premier medical care is happening for our most vulnerable children in our community.
Well, that's great. It's a wonderful addition, probably long overdue in our community. And it's right in the heart of the medical district too. So perfect fit. And we're going to talk more about the medical district in just a few minutes. Councilman, you posted this on Facebook. You said Team Knudsen is excited to announce a new partnership with the UNLV Liberal Arts to bring on interns for the spring 2021 semester. So you're always working to help those in the community. So now we're partnering with UNLV to give students an opportunity to see government from the inside, right?
You know what, David, when I worked here at the city, I always had interns, and every job I've had, I've always had interns. I love the opportunity of having younger people, and it's also selfishly, these are going to be the future leaders, and so trying to connect with people who are going to be in charge later on is really, really important to me. And it's helpful. They have different perspectives, and thinking through how younger people see the world is always helpful in keeping me fresh, because they're certainly not afraid to tell me what they think. And so I'm very excited. Carl from my office kind of put the program together.
Very good.
And having young people around me makes me feel younger than I actually am, and I like that.
I like that too. Councilman, we're big advocates of interns here at Channel 2. We've done that for many years as well. I think too, it helps the student to the extent that they get that view, some experience. They get to see what they want to study in the world firsthand, how it really works versus what you talked about in the classroom. So it's great, always a great opportunity.
I'm very, very appreciative for the city for letting me have some interns.
Yeah,
yes.
Very good, and we will make sure that they get put to work, if we always do. So we have plenty to do around here. So good stuff. And then, Councilman, speaking of UNLV, you said this. Really cool. You had a Zoom call with medical students, dental students, and nursing students, right? And I guess this is part of some community outreach UNLV does, but you guys were talking about homeless issues. Was that primarily the discussion?
That is it. So the schools of nursing, dental medicine, and medicine, all really spending a lot of time in the medical district, are focused on coming together, bringing the different disciplines together, and talking about this tiered approach to healthcare in Nevada. So one of the topics is how they engage with the community, and the students, 180 of them came together, and that was a topic they were interested in. And so I was really grateful to be able to talk about my experience on working with those in poverty or those in homelessness, and the city's role in that. So a really great experience. They had really, really great questions. And I feel proud of the fact that it's in the medical district.
Yeah.
And secretly, not even secretly anymore, I'm very much trying to recruit UNLV's nursing school to come into the medical school.
Yeah.
So I'm spending a lot of time with UNLV, making sure they know the value that the medical district will provide.
Well, and I think the idea that those students are already figuring out ways to work together in the community is just going to make us better as a community.
Yes.
Because there'll be a coordinated effort. Sometimes in government, we're going to talk about this a little bit today, we get kind of a silo effect where we just concentrate on, or have the tendency to want to concentrate just on our area. But of course, we overlap with so many other things. And if UNLV and their students are already getting the feel for making sure that all these in the medical profession are working together, then it just makes everything stronger here in Southern Nevada, no question about it.
And one thing that's important, especially for younger minds, is they're reading the newspapers, they're watching local TV, they're watching Facebook and Twitter, and they're forming opinions based on that. And it's not always the entire truth.
Right.
It's pieces and parts of a truth. And so having direct access to government officials, I think, is really important as those minds develop and those hearts develop around how they're going to serve our community. So I'm really grateful to be able to be a part of their learning experience.
Yeah, very good, very good. Well, a great opportunity there, and glad to see that the university is that forward thinking in getting those students who are eventually going to be working together anyway, thinking along those lines. Yes. That's admirable. And Councilman, you posted this on Facebook too, speaking of helping others. You said, today I had the pleasure of joining Councilman Cedric Creer and community leaders to unveil a van that will help connect our homeless populations to medical services and more. And this is a great program, Councilman. This took place obviously at City Hall. A lot of attention to this because it's a big deal. Homeless folks, obviously transportation, medical services, they don't have access to so many of these things that we take for granted, and we're going to try to bridge that gap a little bit here.
And this is about partnerships in our community. It's going to take a village to move our community forward. So grateful for Silver Summit, grateful for the Councilman Creer. It's in the homeless corridor is in his ward, and the mayor, of course, for allowing for that event to happen. It's good to talk about what needs we have in our community.
And of course, this will, our Councilman mentioned this, one of our resources is the courtyard, the city's homeless courtyard. And oftentimes folks will go there, they'll need medical attention. We need to get them to a hospital or to a medical facility, and this van now is going to help. They probably don't need an ambulance, but they do need to be transported. So this will help shuttle them back and forth when those services are needed.
That's right.
Yeah, it's going to be couldn't come at a better time with everything that's going on in the world. And then, Councilman, we love volunteers at the city. They help us do so many things. We've got a great city staff, but we can't do everything. And what we really like is when the volunteers roll up their sleeves and help us do things like clean up parks.
Correct.
And Get Outdoors Nevada. They did just that, got out there and made a big impact at Rainbow Family Park in your ward.
That's right, and we're looking at brand new children's equipment in Rainbow Family Park. There's a whole bunch of neighbors that are really engaged in that park. Get Outdoors Nevada, as we talked about on Facebook Live, is a really awesome partner, and my commitment was to go through every park. We're cleaning up micro trash. But what's important is the connection that people make with their neighbors, with me. It's kind of fun for me to also talk about the issues and challenges they might have, and cleaning up trash while you're at it. And I always have one or two of my children kind of running around, kind of pulling me away from cleaning up trash, but they try to help out. So we're going to continue to do park cleanups, and Rainbow Family Park was a great example of how many people can come out, and thanks to Councilman Career for coming out and showing support, because if we all clean up trash, it's a lot cleaner place to be.
Yeah, and you mentioned micro trash. Those are the little bits and pieces of God knows what that end up in the parks. It's so hard for our maintenance crew with their blowers and to get to. But if you've got 100 volunteers out there, they can get to everything.
We're done in an hour and a half. You have a donut, a cup of coffee, you talk with your neighbors. It's super fun.
Yeah, and Get Outdoors Nevada, great partner with the city. They've worked with us on the Healing Garden, among other projects. Mauricia Baca was their previous executive director. She's moved on to other things. But Rachel Berggren is now the new executive director, and glad to have her on board. Look forward to working with her over the years.
And thanks to the Parks and Rec team for the park equipment and just really being an awesome partner in this.
Good stuff. A lot of good things happening. Rainbow Family Park, check it out. It's beautiful now. And Councilman, you posted this on Facebook. You said, a City of Las Vegas Councilman Brian Knudsen delivers books to senior residents in Las Vegas Ward 1. This took place on January 27th. And Councilman, you have now become the kind of the bookworm guy on the City Council, because tell everybody what happened. There was a need in the community for books at some of our senior facilities, and you answered it, and look at this. Look at the response you got.
So when we delivered meals over the holidays, I think we kind of talked about it last time, is it was sad. I'm not going to lie. We delivered meals. They were very happy for the meals, but those seniors you could just feel the loneliness. They'd been isolated in their apartments for so long. And so one of them pulled me aside and said, you know what, we've gone through the entire library. We need more books. And I said, well, this is an easy request. And so we talked about it a couple times at the council meeting. The mayor, we had a funny interchange about the need for books and what we can do to get more books into the city, and all of a sudden books started just flying in. So I want to, at Jamestown Towers, want to particularly thank the Las Vegas Clark County Library District Foundation. They donated a bunch of books. Spread the Word Nevada and Lisa Habecourse donated a bunch of books. And then there's just random city employees, and lots of people have been dropping off books at City Hall. And so my car is filled with books right now.
That's what I was going to say.
My job is to drive around to the senior centers and replace their libraries. This afternoon, actually, or last week now, we would have been dropping off Valentine's Day cards at Sartini Plaza, because books led to Valentine's Day cards, and I'm hopeful it'll lead to many more interactions of how we can kind of keep people engaged in our community.
And what you picked up on, Councilman, is just the isolation. Folks that are in facilities like that, they couldn't have any interaction. They were really, they had to basically quarantine through all these months within their own place. Tough. No outside world contact, very, very little. And this was a great opportunity for them to at least let people, to know that people still cared for them and were interested in their welfare, from Valentine's to books to whatever it might be.
In the next month, we probably still have a few more months of this quarantine, and so for all those watching, and you know, instead of reading Twitter, Facebook about the world, write a card, pick up a phone and call somebody who might be a little bit lonely right now. Let people know that you care about them. That the world will be a better place for that.
No question, no question. These folks have been, they've had a very challenging year. Councilman, we haven't had you on the show since the holidays, so we're going to take a jump back to the end of 2021 real quick. But speaking of seniors, not only did you deliver books and Valentine's, but of course it started with the meals, and you were dropping off groceries. This was really incredible. This was the Just One project. Groceries for Seniors took place, of course, right around the holidays. Look at all this. This is food that people donated, that organizations donated. Look at all that. Las Vegas is a great community, and there's your staff right there helping during the holidays get those out to the folks that really need it. And you guys were like going gangbusters.
It's been a busy couple of months.
It has.
Yes.
It has. And it didn't stop there. You also delivered holiday meals. A councilman pushing a big shopping cart here full of stuff too for seniors. This took place just before Christmas.
And we normally do big congregate meals, and we do raffles, and we do bingo, very, very competitive seniors. But this year's a little bit different. We dropped them off door by door by door, but it also allowed for some individual conversations to talk about things that are important to them. Yeah,
normally, Councilman's exactly right. They'll have a big gathering in the dining area, and it'll be kind of a holiday party. But this year, I couldn't do any of that, so this was the next best thing. But you still got out there and said hello to them, and I know it meant a lot because that led to the books, and then the books led to the Valentines, and
I'm excited for what's next. I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They'll let you know.
April Fool's Day, maybe. I don't know.
Could be. They will tell you. So, and then, Councilman, along those same lines, you posted this on Facebook. You said, this week I had the opportunity to partner up with CCSD Police Headquarters to drop off gifts to Las Vegas Ward 1 students and their families. This took place, again, just a couple of days before Christmas as well. Love the police Santa there with the blue Santa.
This is the second year I've worked with Police Santa. So last year we had a bunch of children come in and they got to pick out gifts. This year's a little bit different. We went shopping and bought a bunch of stuff for them, and then with the Clark County School District Police Department went and delivered it to their homes.
Yeah, that's
really great
awesome.
experience.
That's awesome. Good for you. And speaking of the police, you took time also to mark Go True Blue Law Enforcement Day. That was January 15th.
Yes, and I want a special shout out to Bolden Area Command and Spring Valley Area Command. That's most of Ward 1. And Spring Valley Area Command did brought a whole bunch of officers in to focus in on human trafficking, and we're able to help many people who are unfortunately being human trafficked. And so I partnered with Michael Naft on that from Clark County Commission, and just let the officers know that we support what they're trying to do, trying to get people out of harm's way into protective, safe space.
Our fire department too works very hard. Our firefighters have been trained on what to look for, where there might be some potential human trafficking, and then how to move on that, who they need to contact, what to look for, who they need to contact to save a person who's often in need. So very good. Well, Councilman, that's a perfect segue into our next guest, because it's a county commissioner as well. Coming up next, we're going to introduce you to a new member of the Clark County Commission. We're going to talk with District D Commissioner William McCurdy II about how he is working with Councilman Knudsen on several big projects like the Las Vegas Medical District. That's next, so please stay with us.
If you've been affected by suicide, you're not alone. Suicide is a leading cause of death that affects millions each year. In most cases, it happens when stressful life events overload the coping abilities of someone suffering from a mental health condition. And the most common condition associated with suicide is depression, an illness that goes undiagnosed or untreated far too often. But the research is clear. Suicide is preventable if we work together. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention has set a bold goal to reduce the annual suicide rate 20% by 2025. We can save tens of thousands of lives, but we need the help of everyday heroes like you. People have suffered in silence for too long, and too many families have had to weather their losses alone. You can change that. We need you to be the voice for suicide prevention, and it can be as simple as reaching out to a friend, because talk saves lives. If you're having thoughts of suicide, or if you're concerned about someone else, assume you are the only one who will reach out. You can also join hundreds of thousands across the country for our Out of the Darkness community walks and raise awareness of suicide within your community. Together, we'll bring hope to those affected by suicide and raise awareness to save lives. Learn how you can fight suicide. Visit afsp.org today.
Papa!
Welcome back, everyone. The last year has certainly brought many challenges to all of us here in Southern Nevada. Today, we have with us new Clark County Commissioner William McCurdy II to talk about how the county and city are working together to make things better for all of us here in Southern Nevada during this nearly year-long pandemic. Commissioner, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me on with you today.
Good to see you. Councilman, there's sometimes a reputation that the city and county maybe don't work together always on different things, but you, since you've been elected, have really tried to break that myth down that, in fact, we try to partner with the county and all the different entities that we touch here in Southern Nevada on a regular basis. And you've kind of been a champion of making sure that we forge those bonds.
You know, David, I think it's the most important thing I can do as an elected official, and I think everyone that I've talked to on the elected official ranks feels the same way. I'm fortunate enough to share space with the medical district, with Councilman Creer, Commissioner Sagerbloom, and Commissioner McCurdy, who also chairs the UMC board.
Yeah.
And so the medical district, the success of the medical district is really based on the city and the county and the university all getting along and playing well together. So I'm really impressed with Commissioner McCurdy. He was an assemblyman. He was the chair of the State Democratic Party, has a whole history of accomplishments. He's younger than probably everyone in this building, and his future is brighter than anybody else's. And so I'm really excited to see what he's going to do on the county commission, and just really excited to partner with him.
Yeah. Well, Commissioner, we're very happy to have you here, and I think very excited. You have a passion for the medical district, as Councilman Knudsen just said, and that obviously is near and dear to those of us here at the city, and we're so glad that you share that same vision.
Yes, it's been an incredible journey since being elected and also, taking office, and we've gotten to work. And like the councilman, pointed out, that we've already started to discuss how we can continue to build out our collaboration between, the city, the county, as well as the university, with some shared initiatives that are, directly focused on the medical district, and making sure that we continue to build out the infrastructure that's going to be needed to attract more healthcare professionals into the area and really be a leader in the nation as it relates to medical districts.
Boy, that's music, I know, to Councilman Knudsen's ears and to many of us here at the city. Commissioner, I think I asked this to Councilman Knudsen, but there's sometimes this sense in the community that the city and the county or the government entities don't work together, but really not the case. The county and the city, this is a perfect example of how the city elected officials, the county elected officials, and staff are working together to a common end that will really benefit the community in the long run, don't you think?
I would totally agree. I mean, now more than ever, we're going to have to continue to build out capacity to better serve the constituents that we want to improve the quality of life for. So as stated, this is a time to make sure that we increase the collaboration in our shared goals. And I can't think of a better time than right now to be able to do that. And with the leadership of Councilman Knudsen bringing us all together, whether we're talking about the medical district or we're talking about affordable housing, or we're just talking about making sure that our seniors and most vulnerable populations have what they need to have a better quality of life, I couldn't be more honored to be in a position right now to be able to assist in doing so.
All right. Well, you both share, obviously, a passion for the medical needs of this community. Commissioner McCurdy, you are the chair of UMC, as well as being a county commissioner, the chair of the UMC board. Obviously, Councilman, for you, the medical district is a main priority. That medical sense in the community, I think you both also want to make sure that we're a healthy community. And I think, Councilman, you've said the importance of getting people vaccinated, making sure that people are taking care of that. I wanted to ask you both. We're hearing in news reports now that we may not get to the 70% of the U.S. population that will accept the vaccine, that we'll get a number less than that, which may prolong the potential of the pandemic. What are your thoughts along those lines?
I'd ask the commissioner to weigh in as well, but I don't know if you remember, but probably back in March when this all started, I think I made a prediction to you saying masks are going to be a cool thing just in a couple of months, and here we are. Masks are, I don't know if they're cool, but everyone's wearing them.
Yep, it's accepted.
I'm looking forward to a day when we're not wearing masks anymore, and we can get our businesses back up and running at a 100% capacity, and that's going to require people to get vaccinated. And so it would be my desperate plea that people who are eligible to get vaccinated should be vaccinated, and our plea to the federal government to make sure that the distribution of vaccines are coming in at a rate that will allow us to get to that 70%.
Yeah.
It is going to be how we move forward, and I'm ready to move forward. I would ask the commissioner the same question. I think we both would like to go out and have a drink and talk about how the city and county can work together and establish plans for the medical district.
Not doing it in a Zoom call.
We need to do all these things, and it helps to be in person.
Yeah. Commissioner, what do you think? Words of advice when it comes to your viewpoint on getting vaccinated or not at this point?
Vaccination is one of the only methods that we're going to have available to us to, number one, make sure that our communities are healthy, but number two, make sure that we have an opportunity to get our economy back on track. So from day one since I've taken office, I've had an opportunity to work very closely, as you stated. I'm now the chair of UMC, and I take that role incredibly to heart because, as you know, UMC is the only public hospital, as well as serving a lot of the vulnerable populations that are susceptible to catching the virus. So what we have to do right now is maintain education to the community, and we started that education with letting folks know that the best way to prevent the spread of the virus is to wear your mask, wash your hands frequently, and practice social distancing. But now we're transitioning into a point to where now we have to make sure that we are vaccinating folks throughout our entire state. And right here within Clark County, that is a very arduous task, if you will, but we've been setting up pop-up vaccination sites all across the valley. I've been, privileged and extremely honored to be able to partner with our council members here, as well as community members, to make sure that they're communicating out to the populations that have been hardest hit. So we've administered over 240,000 vaccinations and counting, and we are prioritizing, again, focusing on the most vulnerable populations in the hardest hit zip codes to ensure that, starting with our Tier 1 folks, which are our frontline professionals, as well as our seniors 70 and above. But as we work our way down through the tiers, we are going to make sure that we get that vaccination out to all who want it and ensure that they have the comfort knowing that it is safe and it has been tested and it is research driven. So that is our main priority right now. And once we get our community members vaccinated, we will get our businesses back open, we are get our kids back in the classroom, and we are get our economy back on track.
All right, Councilman, I look forward to that day, or Commissioner, I look forward to that day very much as well. Good words of advice there. Well, Commissioner, thank you so much for being on the program with us. I know Councilman Knudsen, all of us here at the city appreciate you being here, and I look forward to working with you on a variety of things in the future. So I know you do for sure, Councilman.
For sure. I greatly appreciate all the county commissioners and all the elected officials who are really doing their very best to figure out how to work through this pandemic. There's going to be so much opportunity as time progresses, and we have new awesome leaders like the commissioner here. And I think great things are ahead of us.
All right. Well, again, Commissioner, thank you so much. And to everybody out there, we want to thank you for watching us here on Channel 2. We always want to hear from you for sure. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilman Knudsen, you can always find him on Facebook and Twitter. You can also contact him just by picking up the phone. We still do that here, 702-229-6405, or you can send him an email. His address is bknudsen@lasvegasnevada.gov, and here one of his great staff will get right back to you. So, Councilman, we'll see you back here in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 1. Look forward to that. And in the meantime, please don't miss our next show beginning on February 25th with Ward 3 City Councilwoman Olivia Diaz. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time around. Please stay safe.